Hi, JD here with another compelling, gripping case study involving me. Surprise, surprise. I'm doing a bunch of these videos around case studies. And look, I'll tell you why I'm doing them. I mean, yeah, I'm not Mother Teresa. The whole idea of me being involved in social media and doing LinkedIn and Facebook and all this sort of stuff is because I provide, I think, pretty damn good value in terms of the content. And B, because I am providing pretty good value, then there's a pretty good chance that I will get a number of people who say, listen, I've been following all of this stuff that you do. It looks like it's pretty good. I've got a business that sales have flatlined at the moment. Can you help me? Okay, and that's why I do it. But there's no compulsion for you to sign up to any program. You can continue to watch this stuff and get free information. But the reason I'm telling you what the rationale is behind doing this is because you should be doing it yourself. Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram, they can be a money machine if you know how to use them. And I think we've got a reasonable handle on how to use them because guess what? We're making a lot of money out of doing this. And if you want to know how to do it yourself, then you might like to click the link above or below me and we can show you how. But enough of me telling you all about how to use social media. This is about telling you how to hold events and to sell once to many. Around about, I don't know, probably 7, 8 years ago, I swapped from the corporate sector into the smaller business sector. Corporate sector being that I was advising, from a marketing perspective, big companies like your Westfield shopping towns, it would be your fast food chains, it would be News Limited, it was Fairfax, it was Blockbuster and Video Easy when video shops were around, 7-Eleven and so on and so forth. They were bigger businesses. And I swapped into the area of businesses probably doing south of 20 million turnover, who may come along to seminars, to conferences, okay, to summits, I think is a sexy word, summits. And I would be in front of them and I would do my song and dance and show a whole bunch of case studies for a period of a few hours. And then, if there were any business owners in that particular seminar who liked what they saw, my direct response marketing, they would come at the end of the event and say, look, what do we do? How do we get more of you? How do we actually get into your consult program? And that's how it works. It's called sell once to many. Now, we would get anywhere between 50 and maybe 80 businesses in a room. And you would probably guess that about 10 to 15% of them would be talking to you at the end of the event about doing more with you. It's called sell once to many, okay? If I had to actually walk around and tell my whole case study story to 80 businesses, I'd be wearing a lot of leather out of my shoes. I'd be wearing a lot of leather out of my shoes and it would take forever. So the smart move is to just do what Anthony Robbins does, hold an event and get them to come into the room and then you can talk once to many, okay? It's called sell once to many. And I thought I'd show you a couple of examples of this. We had a client called Discover Travel, lovely people, and Denise is the lady who owns the business and just a lovely person to deal with. And a great client because they tend to do what you recommend. And in this instance, they have a business that particularly targeted seniors. And a lot of the seniors that they targeted were women. And basically it was called Solo Connections, this particular division of Discover Travel, Solo Connections, and it was all about people who wanted to go on holidays but had lost their partner and they really didn't feel comfy going on just a regular tour because they found that they were often the third wheel. There's a lot of other couples there, but they were single. So they've set up this business called Solo Connections and I said to them, high tea. They said, what? I said, if you're looking to attract women to anything, just hold a high tea. And they went, are you nuts? I said, no, I'm not nuts. Just hold a high tea and invite them to come along. And then you do a presentation on Solo Connections and, basically what you do for them and how they can come on a, hosted tour, feel safe anywhere in the world, whether they're going to Vietnam or America or they're going to Adelaide with the Barossa Valley and do the whole thing in a high tea. Guess what? What you're seeing on your screen at the moment is the result of that. Denise and her crew put together a wonderful series of high teas. The one you're looking at the moment happens to be on the Gold Coast. They had about 110 women turn up to this, and Denise mentioned to me that I think they were sitting on about a 24% close rate. That's insane. I mean, it's reported that Anthony Robbins gets something like an 11 or 12% close rate when he does a pitch at the end of his events. 24%. And that means is that when they're up front talking about their Vietnam hosted tour or their Bali tour or their American or European tour or their Barossa Valley tour, we've got 24% of that audience that stepped up to the mark and handed over some money. They would not do that. Well, all of us would not do that in a month of Sundays. okay? But what we did is we corralled the target audience and then we sold once to many. Simple as that, okay? And it just took some scones, some jam and some cream. I did a Facebook Live from the event. Let me show you a little piece of that. JD here live from the Gold Coast, and I hope you can hear me over all this noise because there's a whole bunch of women behind me here. I have a client who is a travel agent in Brisbane, and they have a business that sells travel to seniors. And I said to them, well, listen, if you're after women, particularly women, then you should hold a high tea, because there's two words that you need to remember if you're wanting to attract women to anything: high and tea. It is jam-packed with potential customers, and it's all about sell once to many. And if you're in the business of well, any business, what you should consider doing is holding events. Look at this here. This is jam-packed to the rafters, and the conversion rate on these things is pretty damn good. And the reason is because you've got the opportunity to actually sell once to many. The great thing with Denise and her daughter Danny is that when I actually tell them, look, you ought to test something, they do it. And not only have they done it here on the Gold Coast, they've already had two events, one on the Sunshine Coast and one in Brisbane, and they smashed it out of the park with both of those. I'll keep you posted on how this goes, but I think it's going to be a pretty exciting morning for the travel agency business. Okay, so there you go. Okay, sell once to many. In this instance, it was getting a whole bunch of women in the room because of some scones and tea, and then selling them on the hosted tour holiday program. Let me give you another one before I go, and this happens to be a business called Urban Clean, and they are a franchisor, and they're looking for cleaners, normally husbands and wives, who'd gone out on their own to create a cleaning service, but just couldn't get business or can't get enough business in, and they've got to do the paperwork, they've got to get out there and clean, they just don't know how to get new clients in because they're not familiar with social media marketing, blah, blah, blah. Now, a lot of that audience happens to be people from foreign countries, so it might be someone from Korea or from China or Vietnam, and so they've come into Australia, and unfortunately their qualifications for being a doctor or something else aren't really recognised, so they've got to do something. They either drive a taxi or they set up a cleaning service. And I said to them, okay, well, can I just suggest you sell once to many? And as it turned out, they said, oh, okay, well, what's that all about? So I was at them, and after a little while of me being a squeaky door, Damien, the owner of Urban Clean, decided to do it, and he stood up at one of my conferences where I bring a lot of my members to the Gold Coast every so often, and he told this story. Have a listen to what he's got to say, and have a listen to the amount of money he made out of it.
Well, JD gave us advice to host seminars or tapas meals. We're in the franchising business, so we sell cleaning franchises. We hosted one, and the outcome, it was a small turnout because we had it was on very short notice, but we got a pipeline of almost $600,000 worth of sales just from that one event. We sell commercial cleaning franchises, so they range from $30,000 each to $80,000. The result was just unbelievable. It's just the positioning power that we had. We gave them excellent content, then we described the opportunity to them, and at the end they're basically flocking to us, and they're ready to put all their money down and say, let's get started. Yeah, the sell once to many model works that JD teaches.
Okay, so there you have it. Sell once to many. If you're not doing it, then you should. And if you want to know how to do it, then there is, pitch coming up by the way, there is a link above or below of my private consult program. You can get hold of me, in other words, become a member of my private consult program for less than what you'd pay a kid out of university to work for you as a marketing assistant, okay? That's how inexpensive the program is. And you get all these sorts of ideas. By the way, we put together a complete customized marketing plan for you within 10 working days of having a chat to you, like insane, okay? I'm showing off, but it is insane. Anyway, if you're interested in me doing the same sort of thing for you, then yeah, click the link above or below and I'll have all the details of our program, and we can have a chat. All the best.